The Delta State government invites business leaders, global investors, policymakers, and industry captains to the Delta State Economic and Investment Summit 2026, themed Harnessing Our Strengths and Unlocking Our Potentials. Chief guest of honor, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Kashim Shettima, GCON. Keynote speaker, Director General of the World Trade Organization, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, GCON. Guest speaker, renowned scholar, Professor Patrick Lumumba. Chairman of the occasion, Engineer Austin Avuru. Other distinguished local and international participants will also be in attendance. Date, August 3 to 5, 2026. Time, 10 a.m. daily. Venue, Dome Event Center, Asaba. Chief host, His Excellency, Right Honorable Sheriff Obrewori, Governor, Delta State. Announcer, Dr. Kingsley Emu, Secretary to Delta State Government and Chairman Planning Committee.
Delta State remains the big heart, a state that you can talk about any other time and you feel proud about it. You're watching Wednesday's Morning Ride, and it's time for us to talk about Delta State. This time, our focus is on the upcoming Delta State Economic Summit. We have with us one who will do the conversation. Before I start, it's important to note that Delta State internal direct revenue grew from about 84 billion in 2003 to over 200 billion in 2026. That's over 138% growth in just 3 years. So when we talk about this economic summit, I think we're in business. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our boss, who's right here with us this morning. He's the Commissioner for Works, Railroads and Public Information. Nobody else, or Mr. Charles Aniago. It's good to have you. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you doing today?
I am great. Welcome to Wednesday's edition of Morning Ride. It's a big privilege to have you right here, and I know you are ready to rock and roll as the event comes. Now, let's go with the first question. We're about to start the summit. Tell us what it's all about from your own perspective before we continue.
Well, thank you very much. Let me appreciate our viewers this morning for at least also dedicating part of their time to watching and indeed listening to us. For the past 3 years now, the administration has been very much busy with ensuring that infrastructure is, put in place in a number of sectors, whether in the road sector, in the education sector, in the health sector. And the reason why we concentrated first in doing that is because we needed to be able to create the enabling environment that will allow other sectors to kick off. Because you cannot ask somebody to come and invest, and you tell him that you have land in a particular place, but he cannot access the land. Even under normal relationship, if you inherit a land from your father, and your father says, I have 3 acres of land for you. If there is no road leading to the place, and possibly there are no aspect of energizing the environment, like by way of power, the tendency is that that particular plot may just be serving as farmland. But the moment you have access, proper access to the place, you could begin to think of converting it to other use. And so the value of your property, first of all, flew from how accessible that property is. A very good example is businesses are along this corridor, the DBS corridor. Businesses are along Miriam Babangida corridor. Compare them with businesses that are very far away from here, maybe inside Achali Buzo. The prices are not the same.
No.
Even if the land in Achali Buzo may be a flat table land, and the one here is undulating, the one here will still have more value.
Yeah.
Because, of course, it's already in a place where such land could be used for many things on account of that accessibility and many other factors around that particular land. So that's also the way it works with government and government infrastructure. So having done all that, we felt that there was now the need to bring in people because we have created what they need to be able to operate. The security is there, the connectivity by way of roads is there. We are doing a whole lot to show up our energy requirements. Then, of course, the manpower. Of course, we are the only state in the federation that has 4 state-owned universities. All those ones are churning out, in addition to the other federal institutions in the state, are churning out the required manpower to assist in, handling some of these institutions we're asking to come in. So having been able to do that, we felt it is right for us now to invite the world to Delta so that they can now assist us in unlocking our strengths and then, of course, possibly harnessing our different potentials for the purpose of creating jobs for our people and boosting our economy.
All right.
Right. So, and that brings me to mention this. The theme of this year's summit is harnessing our strength, unlocking our potentials. Beyond being a catchy slogan, what does this theme say about the current economic direction of Delta State government, and why is it particularly relevant at this time? Why now?
Well, like I said, we started creating the nexus between what we are more or less regarding as being potential, and then which means it is just like when they say Nigeria is potentially rich, it means you have what it takes to be rich, but that you are not yet rich. We have a whole lot of potentials, whether it's in the area of the manpower, whether it's in the area of raw materials, like in the solid mineral sector. In the agriculture sector, we have a whole lot of arable land that is quite cultivable. And when I said, okay, how do we bring all these out? To say, okay, let us see what we can do to harness them. Having harnessed them, we'll be able to say, okay, all these things become actually our strength. That, for instance, I have a horse. I should be able to ride a horse. The horse is there. For me to be able to ensure that that particular aspect is harnessed, I need to be able to feed the horse, bring it on the table and the packed. Now, for me to now ensure that it gives me value, to unlock that energy that is in that horse, is to bring somebody who will be able to train it and then make it rideable. Because the horse on its own, without being trained, is just another wild beast. You may jump on top of it, and the next thing is throws you out because it's not used to it. So the moment you maybe try to tinker with the rope, you will think you are trying to strangulate it, and so it may react differently. But if it is trained and it's not able to yield to your own expectation, that becomes something that you have been able to unlock and then make it now, available for you. But having done that, you have an aim, a reason why you want to ride a horse, either for the purpose of a competition, for the purpose of exercise, or possibly you want to use it as a means of transportation, so that it takes you to where you are going to transact business, to do other things. That becomes now the benefit of all that effort. Now, the effort of trying to, as much as possible, to harness that which we have in our own states, and then with these individuals coming in, helping us to unlock them, is to be able to create jobs, improve our standard of living. And then, of course, what is the benefit of government? The benefit of government is that, number one, apart from the tax that individuals who are now gainfully employed will pay, the major benefit is that you will have more security, because you are going to reduce idle minds. Like they say, it's the devil's workshop. So once you reduce the idle man, it means you have been able to reduce also the amount of devil's workshop that could be operating in different corners of the state. And so we are quite optimistic, given the number of investors that are interacting with us. A number of them are very even willing to be part of the sponsorship of this program.
That's great.
We have quite a number coming in from Brazil. You recall that sometime in September last year, we were in Brazil, where we had interaction with a number of entrepreneurs who also saw the need to proceed to Delta, and by the grace of God, they are coming in. We also have quite a number of persons coming in from China. You also recall that sometime early July last year, we were also in China. All these for the purpose of marketing Delta to the world and getting those who are very serious in investment. And investment thrives in an atmosphere of tranquility. Money is one thing that fears violence. The moment there is any crisis, money runs away. Then when there is a very stable system, money comes in because he knows that it's safe.
Money loves peace.
Yes, he knows that it's safe. So that's what we're creating, so that money can begin to love our state.
Now, in as much as you've gone to all these countries, one of your speeches recently, you urged indigenous investors not to leave the responsibility of investment to foreign people. They should do it
alone.
Alone.
Yeah.
Okay, alone.
Yeah.
So why is that message so important? And do you believe that our local indigenous people are somehow shy of making investment in Delta State? What are the moves for this summit to ensure that maybe that begins to happen so that don't leave investment for the foreigners alone?
Well, you know what they need is to be able to come to terms with the tranquility I talked about, with the safety I talked about. And so that is why in our own administration, we'll try as much as possible to also make them have hope in the system. Because even the indigenous investors you are talking about, they don't also want to lose their money. I give you an instance. As a government, you award contract to a contractor. He goes to the bank to obtain a loan for the purpose of executing that contract. And that contract is to last for 6 months. And the man possibly in the first 3 months has been able to achieve certain milestones. He puts in his certificate so that you can pay him in line with the milestones. And you begin to delay. And maybe 7 months you've not paid him. And he has taken a facility from the bank. The bank is not going to pause whatever interest that is accruable on account of that facility. And so when a job that you are supposed to end in 6 months and you are supposed to pay the man off now drags for 2 years, and the man has a facility from the bank that is running on maybe 15 or 20 or possibly 30% interest, how much is the profit? What percentage of that job is the profit? Even if he has about 40%, by the time the bank's interest takes away as much as 35%, what happens to him? And you know there are other running costs that he has to incur. So when you do that, you are killing the business. You cannot stimulate interest. And so the local investor who knows that that is what you are doing cannot be interested, even when he has the funds. Secondly, if he also knows that you bring in a whole lot of sentiments, that you are not allowing them to make business decisions, that by the time he comes in and you are trying to tell him, look, your group managing director must come from my community. Your accountant must be from my community. And he knows that the person you are asking for, trying to foist on him, does not have the capacity to operate in that environment or in that particular position. You are putting mounting pressure on him to take that kind of decision. You begin to see that they develop some form of a cold feet in moving in. But in Delta, we are giving them that assurance that number one, that's not how we're playing. Ubururi have also demonstrated that that's not how he's playing. Of course, you see that we do not only just pay certificates once they are raised, we even go to the extent of advancing as much as 40% to the contractor who is engaged in one business. So when a government does that, in addition to the solvency that the Bureau policy has been able to create, to the extent that we are not only boasting that we can fund all our projects, we also tell you that we are not only solvent, we are also very liquid. And that liquidity gives us a whole lot of strength. The Igbo man says, Akonesi Obike, as when you have wealth, you are strong enough to be able to take very strong decisions. And that is what we are doing. And so that strengthens our local or indigenous investors. And while we're also charging them to take advantage, albeit very, very notable advantage of what we're doing, is because they have some form of intrinsic interest in our growth. There's nothing like there's one trouble here and there and you run away. Once data develop, your brothers get job. So theirs is beyond just making profit. Yes, they will make profit, but it also guarantees growth of their business because this is where they live. Their businesses will grow, their state will grow, they will have more security to secure their businesses. There's nothing like maybe let me make the money and just run away. So they have some form of altruistic reason why they should be very much involved in what we are doing. Right. And I'm happy that many of them, through NACIMA, have actually showed a whole lot of interest.
Quite commendable. And beyond speeches and communique, many economic summits generate ambitious implementation. So after each summit, I'm glad that Delta State is having is now. There are so many recommendations that will come, and that rarely progress beyond the conference hall. So my question is, what institutional framework has been put in place to ensure that any resolution or the resolutions from the summit translate into concrete policies and projects, of course, measurable outcomes as well?
Well, let me tell you that the summit we are holding is not the one that you just wake up and begin to issue communique and all that, because it's not a conference. We are bringing in individuals whose intention is to interact with capital, investors who want to come and make money. And when they are making money, they give us value. We are looking for value. They are looking for profit. And then what is the value we are looking at? We are looking for how to indeed harness all those potentials. We are looking for how possibly we are going to be able to unlock to harness our strengths, and how we are going to unlock our different potentials. We are also looking at how we are going to create jobs for our people. We are going to look at how these things, when it happens, it also dovetails into security of life and property, which of course is the primary purpose of government. And so, that being the case, we've been able to package a program that also provides them that leeway to interact with one another. And that's why we are, if you go to the event center now, you will see that we have started the construction of the D rooms. The D rooms are the rooms where individuals will go in to strike deals, to have a conversation, company A meeting with company B, discussing as to how they are going to do business together. For instance, somebody coming in from Brazil may not easily just say, I'm going to put in my money. He needs a local partner. So that even if he goes back to Brazil, that local partner helps him to navigate the murky waters of local politics. So that if he gets to a community and they are bringing in the issues of local content, that local partner is your brother. You know him. So he knows your nuances. So if you begin to tell him stories that he's used to, he's not going to be threatened. He knows that, no, this thing you're telling me, like they say in our local parlance, in our wash. He said, no, this one doesn't belong. This one we will do. That local person also knows all those of us in government. Might find it easier and more comfortable to also interact with the different relevant government agencies that have to do with the sector that he's going to play. And so when they come in, they have that interaction. Beyond having that interaction, you're also able to deal with individuals that are within your own value chain. If, for instance, you are in the processing, agro-processing sector, as an agro-processor, you want to be able to deal with, produce maybe palm oil. You don't have the palm fruits. You don't know where they are. You may not strike a deal with ag growers or with some other person that are already in clusters, or with person that could become your vendor to go to the market to bring in the different palm fruits before they bring it to you to process. You may also be more or less a tertiary processor in that sector, in which case you are not going to be processing the palm oil, but you are going to be using the palm oil to produce other products, whether in the area of soap making, or you are going to get involved in converting it to granite oil, or you are going to use it for other forms of energy. So you see that you could have the farmer who is growing the fruits, the raw material. You could also have some middlemen that are now going to buy it in form of suppliers who supply your raw materials. You could have the first level of processing, the man who processes it into palm oil. And then, of course, you can also have the man who is also buying the palm oil for the purpose of bringing up some other form of energy within that ecosystem. So when you come in, you have that interaction. You could also be a dairy company, but you don't have a ranch for the purpose of harvesting milk from the animal. But the man who is having a ranch, who possibly is fattening the cow for the purpose of producing some very rich milk, his own stock there is not the processor, he's only just harvesting. But he makes the milk available to you for you to properly process it into either tin milk, powdered milk, or whatever form of milk. So when you come in as a dairy company in that regard, you could be looking in the direction of striking a deal with the man who owns a ranch. So you could see that we are bringing a whole lot of persons within certain value chain together. So that in that chain, you can think of where you fit in. That is what this investment summit is going to be doing. Bringing persons together, government being your partner, creating the enabling environment for you to trust that government can protect you. If you have a land with government protection, nobody will wake up and encroach on that land, because all the land belongs to government, even if you are holding it in trust. When government needs it, government takes it, and government issues it CFO. So once you have a government like that of Oborowiri being your partner, irrespective of who you are striking deals with, then you know that you have a partner that can be trusted.
So, Commissioner, you're saying that the governor is trying to partner with these investors?
The state. That partnership does not mean that you are going to get involved in your value chain. That partnership means that you are bringing some level of guarantee that once you are coming in, this land is here for you to grow. I'll give you an example of what happened during the COA administration. We felt that there was a need to shore up production of palm. And good enough, Nosworthy came in. I said, no, we can do this. As the owners of Rain Oil. I said, look, if you can assist us to acquire land, we can grow. You grow the palm, and then you can also make use of outgrowers. Outgrowers are those who may have their own different farms. They just grow it and harvest and bring to you. But you have your own farm where you also harvest and process. So if you go to Akukugbo today, you will see several hundreds of hectares of land of palm plantation belonging to Nosworthy farms, and they are doing very, very well. How did government come in? Government became more like the guarantor, because otherwise the communities may not easily surrender the land. Or even when they do, some persons who may have become rich or who are envious can come in and say, no, this is our land, and begin to bring in conditions that are very inimical to the good of such company, such business. The security, of course, is the business of government. Government that can also help you provide that security. You know that nobody can struggle with government, because after God, the next most powerful institution is government. And so if government comes and says, this your land, yes, it's beautiful, but we want it for something, automatically you have lost that land. Even if you go to court, government can only compensate you. But so that's why government is providing the background and the backend for any of the investors. For you to know that nobody is going to take advantage of you.
Let's go on the break. And we'll come back. We shall talk more about this economic summit and all that we expect, the partnership with government, and what you get to gain from it. That's if you stay with us right here on Morning Ride.
Hello, my name is Sheriff Oborowiri, the governor of Delta State. I have the pleasure to invite you to Delta State Economic and Investment Summit 2026, taking place in Asaba from August 3rd to 5th, 2026. Over 40 prospective investors from Brazil and China, policymakers, business leaders, and international development partners are expected at this summit. It is an opportunity to connect your business ideas with capital, foster strategic partnerships, and take your business to a new level of growth and expansion. This government believes strongly in the economic development model that is led by the private sector. Hence, we have put in place investor-friendly policies that encourage private investors, support business growth, and foster massive industrialization of our state, with Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, GCON, as keynote speaker, and Professor Patrick Lumumba as guest speaker. The summit promises to be an exciting and rewarding time for all participants. So, join us and be part of shaping the next chapter of Delta State's economic transformation. Thank you and God bless.
The Delta State government invites business leaders, global investors, policy makers, and industry captains to the Delta State Economic and Investment Summit 2026, themed Harnessing Our Strengths and Unlocking Our Potentials. Chief guest of honor, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Kashim Shettima, GCON. Keynote speaker, Director General of the World Trade Organization, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, GCON. Guest speaker, renowned scholar, Professor Patrick Lumumba. Chairman of the occasion, Engineer Austin Avuru. Other distinguished local and international participants will also be in attendance. Date, August 3 to 5, 2026. Time, 10 a.m. daily. Venue, Dome Event Center, Asaba. Chief host, His Excellency, Right Honorable Sheriff Obrewori, Governor, Delta State. Announcer, Dr. Kingsley Emu, Secretary to Delta State Government and Chairman Planning Committee.
You're watching Morning Ride, Wednesday's edition of the show precisely, and we're having a conversation about the upcoming economic summit right here in Delta State. We're having that conversation with the Honorable Commissioner for Works, Rural Roads and Public Information, Mr. Charles Aniago. It's good to still have you right here.
Thank you.
We talk about the economic summit. Over 260,000 Deltans have been empowered through the DCARES More Grants program. How will this summit connect those beneficiaries to markets, and what role will rural roads play in all of that?
Now, let me tell you so that you understand the nature of this summit. You know, there are very small players in virtually all sectors who depend also on the big players, either as individuals who now serve as your off-takers, or who serves as providing whatever you need, the raw material you need to even grow your own business. Let me give you an example. For instance, if you are into maybe fish farming, and you have a very small pond, where possibly in the course of a month you can boast of about, let me take it up a little more, like 1,000 fish or stock that you can afford to sell. But oftentimes, because there are no off-takers, big off-takers, you begin to have a challenge of the disequilibrium between demand and supply. And when that happens, and you see that supply is outweighing demand, what does that do? It makes your product not to give you the value that ordinarily you should have. Because you are having fewer persons demanding for what you are producing. And so when you are having that situation, you begin to see the person who is demanding becoming
the boss,
more of the boss, and then dictates the price. But when you now have some of these big players that want to come in that value chain, and maybe he's now into processing, either to convert the fish into stuff like sardine, into stuff like package a fish, or for the purpose of export, or has the ability to even process it and make it available to other states of the federation where such is not grown. You begin to see that reasonable amount of money you begin to now chase your produce, in this case your fish. And what does that mean? It is up to you as a reasonable investor or a business person, albeit a micro business operator, to begin to look in the northern direction. Rather than heading in the south, your businesses begin to look upwards. And so when you begin to look upwards, what do? You begin to see need to reinvest, because you know that whatever you produce will be taken off. I had opportunity of sometime in 2016 of venturing into fish farming, and I was so happy. I needed to put in a whole lot of money into it. Almost at that time, almost about 15 million. And I built a lot of ponds, dug 3 boreholes, built a hatchery, and navigated towards producing my own feed. But when it was time for harvest, and I told the people I thought would be able to serve as off-takers that, look, I'm ready. They said no, that I should call these women who are just coming with basin that are on the road. I say, what? I'm not producing for those people. The kind of investment I have here is not business kind of investment where somebody will just come in with 30,000 naira to buy the one that he can buy, and then that's all the person has the capacity. Because of that, I closed down the business. I said, no, I'm not going to operate that way because I am operating far beyond that level. So if I'm operating beyond that level, you can't drag my business back to that level. I can't invest. At the end of the day, every investment getting to as much as 20 million. And you are telling me that the person will be buying my fish, will be bringing 50,000 naira. I expect those who can comment that at least even one person or two can say, okay, all your fish I'm paying you so amount. Yes, because he has the capacity. And so that's why we say we are bringing in people who have that capacity to stimulate growth in a number of sectors. So that you who is playing in a smaller pond can now begin to have a handshake with the man who is in a swimming pool. And then the man in the swimming pool can have handshake with the man who is in a maybe an artificial lake. And perhaps the one in an artificial lake can begin to also have interaction with another man in a bigger stream. And before you know it, you are navigating through the river. And of course, you know that every river finds one way or the other to end up in the ocean. So that is what we are going to, what we are trying to do, a spiral effect that can stimulate growth even down there. Because so that individuals who have maybe mini ponds cannot say, they did not allow us to come to this forum. Even if at that level that you don't come, there are those who, when they come and they begin to participate, you will now begin to have what we call remote consequences. Begin to benefit from their growth will rub off on you, and then through their growth, you too will begin to grow. So those are some of the stuff or pickups that will be happening in the course of this summit and thereafter.
Okay. All right. So looking beyond 2020.
Though you did ask about how you are going to have a nexus. Yes. What we are doing with rural routes.
Yes.
In my opening remarks, I did say that we are creating some form of arteries, which you can call connectivity, to link up communities that even if you are in a remote village, you should be able to come out. You should be able to have access. Yeah. So that even if you decide to set up a company there, you can now easily go to that your company. Then even if, for instance, when we talk about outgrowers, they are not growing it along DBS road. They will go to the bushes to grow the palm trees, the rubber plantation, the cassava, or whatever that they are growing, even corn, in terms of producing grains. But their ability to evacuate, because there is a road that leads to that particular community, makes it easier. So it's not going to be looking for wheelbarrow to be pushing it out. Of course, you know that before you begin to use wheelbarrow to push for about 3 kilometers, how many bunches are you going to convey with wheelbarrow? But if a pickup, something like Diana or something bigger than that, a truck, can have access, in one fell swoop, it takes off whatever you have and then brings you to town. So those are some of the reasons why we have been very, very heavy in terms of linking up our rural communities with road networks.
All right, so looking beyond 2026 now, should Deltans see this Economic and Investment Summit as a one-off event, or is it intended to become a recurrent platform for both economic planning, stakeholders engagement, and investment promotion?
Well, I will try to, just like you have directed that I should look beyond 2026, but you needed to also provide me with the telescope to be able to view 2027 and beyond. But what we have done to be able to have what looks like a forecast of the future is that by the grace of God, we are quite confident that the number of the investors that are coming in will indeed see need to stay. Because, you know, like they say in advertising, you must first of all attract attention. After you have arrested that attention, you must also take steps to sustain the interest. And then after you have been able to sustain that interest, you now take it for that person to now make an investment decision or a purchasing decision. So it's not enough to say, this my suit is good when you wear it. And then the person runs there, and then by the time it comes, he's seeing holes. So you see that, yes, you have attracted, but you couldn't sustain. Then now, into the future, once this number of companies come in, these investors come in, and they are seeing the involvement of government in creating that enabling environment, which is key. enabling environment, and they decide to invest, they would have ended up also helping to shore up our economy. So that even if tomorrow we want to do an investment summit, it could be on a different scale with a different purpose. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Yes, you cannot say that this is going to be the last. No. Because as we make progress, so many other things will come up. For instance, if we have an area today where a particular company comes in for the purpose of getting involved in unlocking certain aspects of what we are doing, and then by the time you unlock, and that gives rise to another level of production, you may also, in the course of your symptoms, say, look, we are producing this. You know, most of the things we are marketing now are largely raw materials. We will tell you, for instance, that we have a coal, which is raw material, so you can come and extract coal. But you may, yes, we have coal here in the council houses. You may come and extract the coal. Coal in itself, without being used, is of nothing. You just want dirty stuff that looks like a piece of wood, burnt wood for that matter.
Charcoal.
Yes. But when you now use it for the purpose of stimulating energy to power a turbine,
It now has value.
you have added a particular kind of value to it. So which means the man who goes to extract it, we need to sell it to the man who needs it for the purpose of power. The extractor may not be the one that is going to use the power. Like, for instance, electricity is on here. The man generating it is not the one using it here for you. He generates it for you, but you know what? That he has generated it does not mean it's going to come to you. Somebody else must first of all transmit it.
What a chain.
That's another chain.
What a chain.
You understand?
What a big chain.
And you know the funny thing too, the man transmitting is not also the one relating with you. He must now make it available to the man who is going to distribute. So the man who is transmitting, transmit to the man who is going to distribute, who uses the transformers to distribute to you. So now it means that a company A may be generating, company B may be transmitting, company C is distributing. You discover that the one distributing may not even have any single business with the man who is generating. They don't meet, he doesn't even know him.
All right, Honorable Commissioner.
So
we have to stop.
So all those chains
we have to stop.
are involved in what we are doing.
We have paper reviews to look at. So thank you so much. I know this happened in 2016 during the previous administration, and you were Commissioner for Information back then.
No, that time I was a chief press secretary to the
Chief
governor.
press secretary.
But it was on a different scale.
Okay.
Yes, it was on a different scale, but it assisted us because thereafter we saw the need to establish some of these industrial parks.
And diverse from oil.
Yeah, so you can see we'll talk about the Kwale Special Economic Zone. You also have the Abogwashi Agro-Industrial Park.
Yeah.
So the 2016 Economic Summit also gave us value for us to be able to begin to establish. Today, when you get to the Kwale Free Trade Zone, which is part of the Special Economic Zone, you see that the number of companies, not less than 14, have come in, and a number of them are already operating. And what this government have also done, beyond the issue of having to perform the groundbreaking, we are also constructing roads within that particular environment so that we can have a much more effective nexus between the different companies that are going to be operating there.
So the 2016
gave rise to the establishment of those industrial parks. Yes, like they. So we were able to now convert what we used to have was just the cocoa free trade zone.
Yes.
But in the course of that interactions, we were giving further education that look, you will benefit more from the special economic zone.
So we know what we're expecting.
Yeah.
If we had that then, imagine 10 years after,
10 years.
what we are going to experience. We can't wait. If he's going to register, she's going to be.
I've registered.
She's going to register
I'm
more.
to be accepted. I wanted to ask
Okay.
you that how would people come? But I think that
You register, we process it to look at yes, whether indeed you are an investor that has value that you're going to add to the summit. You know, it's not all commerce affair.
Okay.
It's not a political jamboree.
Okay.
We are bringing people because we are telling them come and see capital. I'm sure you have never seen the governor involved in any you have never seen the governor get involved in any commercial.
I haven't.
So now that he's involved,
Now.
what does that tell you? That there is a serious business that is big and big enough to pull out the big mascots.
All of them, you have to let Ife be part of that.
That's not a good one.
All right, that's the Commissioner for Information, Mr. Charles Aniaku, Commissioner for Roads, Public Information. Yeah, he's right here with us. And we have had a very wonderful conversation about the upcoming economic summit. Thank you so much.
Thank you
so much.
Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure having you.
When we come back, we shall look at the papers. Do stay with us.
Investor-friendly policies have made it one of Nigeria's most attractive investment destinations, noting that the state's economy has diversified significantly beyond crude oil. According to him, the non-oil sector now accounts for over 71%